All right, welcome back, True Seeker. It is Monday, April 27th, 2020, and tonight, Gematria Effect Lesson number 5, or I should say Gematria School Lesson number 5, we're going to talk about the organic side of the code, and again, a reminder about probably the most popular question I get asked is, are these numbers good or are these numbers bad? So often people decode their own name and they see numbers that I talk about frequently and they get worried that they have those numbers in their name. And of course, the reason people get worried when they see the numbers I often talk about in their own names is because usually I'm exposing things that are dark, such as ritual murder, propaganda, secret societies up to no good. But remember, these numbers, even though that they're used ritualistically in the ways that I often exposed, it doesn't mean that they're bad. There are no numbers that are all bad or all good. All numbers are dualistic, meaning they're equal. They have a good side, they have a bad side, like pretty much everything in this world. And I'm just going to start with the alphabetic order. Again, when you use the gematrinator.com calculator, if you click the ciphers tab, you can close or open more ciphers. I'm just going to leave up English ordinal, which is again also known as simple English gematria, which is just A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, so on. People often will email me or call me and say, Zach, I saw that my name equaled 67. And I know you're always talking about that number in ritual killing. Should I be worried? And again, the answer is no. The numbers are dualistic. If you're not associated with these secret societies, if you haven't signed some sort of pact with these secret societies, if you haven't taken some money from these people or, essentially signed your soul away for wealth and gain, you don't really have anything to worry about. And case in point, the word water equals 67. Water, speaking of dualistic, water, it's obviously a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. You could drown in water, it could flood your house, but at the same time, water is one of the most essential things that we need to breathe, right after oxygen. Or did I say to breathe? I mean to live. Water is one of the most essential things we need to live, So water, it's another word that's 67, organic 67. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, the word good is 67. So, again, all numbers are dualistic. And I'm going to pull back up all 4 base ciphers here and just show you something that I've always found curious about the words good and bad, just to make a point. Notice good with the alphabetic order is 41, which is the 13th prime number. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, good is also 13 alone. And so many people, they have this negative association with the number 13. They're afraid of 13. There's a superstition about 13. They don't want to do certain things on the 13th. They don't want to go to the 13th floor. They don't want to get on an airplane on the 13th, etc., etc. Now, personally for me, I've always noticed that 13 seemed to be a lucky number. And especially on Friday the 13th. I've noticed just things seem to go my way on Friday the 13th. So even though the popular superstitions out there, I always noticed, 13, it's never been a bad number to me. And when I found Gematria and I saw this, and I thought, good, 41 the 13th prime, good also 13. I thought, that's strange because the number's always been good to me, but so many people are afraid of it. And what's interesting is when you type in the word bad with the alphabetic order is 7, right? Now, for a lot of people, 7's their lucky number. In our society, if you surveyed 100 people, said, what's your lucky number? Probably the majority would say 7 because that's a cultural thing too, that 7's the lucky number. Like when you go to Vegas, you want the straight 7s, even though in your lifetime you'll probably never see them. And by the way, the word casino with the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order, the rules of numerology, it equals 61 and 25, which of course in numerology, 61 is 6 plus 1 is 7, 25 is 2 plus 5 is 7. So, again, a lot of people would tell you 7's their lucky number. A lot of people would tell you they hate the number 13, but Gematria says opposite. And I'm not saying because Gematria says one thing or the other, that means that the number 7's entirely bad or the number 13's entirely good. I'm just reminding you that, all things are dualistic. Nothing's entirely good. Nothing's entirely bad. So if you ever see the numbers that I routinely talk about, even though I might bring them up in a negative way, it doesn't mean that it's a a bad thing that those numbers are in your name. And you have to remember the reason I'm doing this research, like my primary purpose with my research is to help people see the agenda we're living out. And that's the whole reason I got into this research. I saw that there was something about numbers and media and government and rituals, and I couldn't put my finger on it for over 10 years until I found the word gematria. And then when I found it and began to research, everything became more clear by the day, if you will. But also, in the early part of my research, I was also trying to understand why anybody would do this. Even once I found it and saw that was going on, my next question was, okay, well, if they are doing this, why? To what purpose? I mean, and again, we've covered these things in earlier lessons, but again, a lot of it goes back to spiritual belief systems such as Hermeticism. Hermeticism says every number carries a vibration. Every number carries a vibration. Hermeticism says that everything carries a vibration. Every letter, every number, every color, everything. Everything has a vibration. And when you know how to understand those vibrations and harness their energy, you can use them to your benefit. Now, unfortunately, none of the Hermetic texts I've come across have taught you how to harness those vibrations and how to know what number, what letter, what color carries what vibration. Obviously, that knowledge is probably out there somewhere, but it's probably in very exclusive hands. And perhaps one day as a community, with enough people becoming aware of this and researching, that will be unlocked. I don't have the answer to that part of the question, but it's obvious that since they are so systematic about this and so ritualistic with it, that they must be doing it for these reasons. And then again, the other thing is this code of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah, where in Kabbalah's Book of Formation, it stated that God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And again, when I was in my early days of researching, I really regret looking back that I didn't buy this book, because I've forgotten the name of the book and the author. I know where I was. I was at a Borders bookstore in Lloyd Center in Portland, Oregon, or a Barnes & Noble. It's the Barnes & Noble that's there. And I was in the numerology section, and I was just scanning through books, and there was a personal numerology book, and in the beginning of the book, it shows how to decode your birth numerology, and then it also shows you how to get your name number. And the way they teach you is with this cipher right here, what we often refer to as the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. So A's 1, B's 2, C's 3, D's 4. Where it stops counting by the alphabetic order is J. And, well, it's really still counting by the alphabetic order, but J's the 10th letter, and the numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. So again, it's the cipher where you use the alphabetic order but turn each letter to a single-digit number. So in this book, again, it showed this cipher. And it said what you want to do is you want to write out your full name and calculate the value of your name, and take that full value and also look at the numerology value, and you will find that these numbers will show up in your life, in the relationships you make, in the people you have connections with. And again, the author was saying your birth numerology and your name number. And again, I know I've done this before, but just to be redundant and so that you can do it too with yourself, what you're going to want to do is write out your full name. So my full name is Zachary Keefe. Let me spell my name right. I got the bad keyboard here. But Zachary Keefe Hubbard, 89. And once upon a time, I did this pen and paper, wrote it out by hand, triple checked it, make sure it was all accurate. That's what I used to do back in the day, make sure everything was the way it was supposed to be. But I saw my name was 89, and I thought, okay, let's see. Let's see about my dad. And so I typed out my dad's full name, or I wrote it out. And Timothy Stephen Hubbard, his name was the exact same as mine, so my eyebrows went up right away. I was like, wow. I even called my dad, because I remember when this happened, I called him up to double check that this is how he spelled Stephen. I wanted to make sure he didn't have the PH way. I was pretty sure he did it with the V. But I said, hey, Dad, do you spell your middle name with the V or the PH? He said, oh, with the V. He acted like he was disappointed that I didn't know that off. And I did know it. I just wanted to make sure. But I was like, wow. So the exact same. And then when I saw that, I was thinking, God, and my mom's birthday is September 8th. September 8th, a date that the majority of the world writes 8-9. And then I was like, wow, I wonder if my mom's name's going to be the exact same. And not quite. And keep in mind, I mean, this is my mom's married name. And if you want me to do her maiden name, I always forget how to, her last name, her maiden name is Halverson, but I can never remember if she spells it Verson or Vorson. I can never remember, so maybe I can tell you that in a future week. But her married name is Donna Jean Hubbard, which is 62, which in numerology is 6 plus 2 is 8. 89 is 8 plus 9 is 17. 17 is 1 plus 7 is 8. So all three of our names break down to 8. And again, my mom's birthday is 8-9, September 8th. So what's funny about this is, I'll tell you even more. Okay, so one other thing. Again, if you type in what's the coldest day ever recorded, it'll come up and it'll tell you it was July 21st, 1983. And it'll tell you that the record cold temperature that day was negative 89.2 Celsius. Again, the reason I bring this up is because that's the exact day I was born, July 21st, 1983. So I find that really strange. And I mean, the temperature wasn't where I was born in Portland, Oregon, but still it was the exact same day, and it's still the record all these years later. But it's that same number. It's negative 89 again. And, you know, it's bizarre. It's like, okay, so my parents, who both have this 89 connection, they have their child that day, and then they gave him this bizarre name. And truly, my parents don't even know why they named me what they named me. They just thought it sounded good. They kind of came up with it on the spot. There's no Zacharys in our family. There's no Keefs. I think Keef's an Irish name. There's no Irish people. But they just put this name together, Zachary Keefe Hubbard. And lo and behold, it had those numbers. And I'll show you what's interesting about how my parents met in light of what their birthdays are, and how I find this interesting as well, just the organic side of things. And again, I'm just showing you all this stuff so you can go back and think about things like this with your own life, with your own parents. But my dad's birthday is April 18th, okay? April 18th. And what's interesting about that day is it's the 108th day of the year, right? The 108th day, and I'll tell you why this all matters in a moment. And then my mom's birthday is September 8th, which is the 251st day of the year. 251 is the 54th prime number, okay? So again, on gematria.com, if you go to Tools, Number Properties, and search, it'll tell you if a number's prime. So yes, it's prime. It's the 54th prime number, right? Now, I got to pull back up the alphabetic order here, our most simple cipher. Notice baseball's 54 and Major League is 108, right? And the way my parents met was playing baseball. They're playing at like a summer fun baseball game. And my dad, he's also obsessed with baseball. He probably cares about baseball more than anything else. When I was growing up, he was always working on my baseball fundamentals, practicing baseball. But the thing about a baseball is it has 108 double stitches. So I find it interesting that my dad's born on the 108th day of the year, and his biggest love in this life is baseball. And my mom, she likes baseball as well. And again, that's how they met, playing baseball at a park, Delta Park in Portland, Oregon, if you've ever been there. So they came together through baseball. And then the other thing that's really interesting about their birthdays, in light of the day they had me, is this right here. So, again, on the date duration calculator, whoops, I hit the right thing, wrong thing. If you measure from April 18th, 1983, the year I was born, to July 21st, 1983, the day I was born, you'll notice it's 94 days later. And from my birthday to my mother's birthday that year was 49 days. 49 days. So 94 days from my dad's birthday to mine, and 49 days from my birthday to my mother's. And again, my birth name is Zachary Hubbard, but again, what I've been most commonly called for my entire life is Zach Hubbard. And with the alphabetic order, Zach Hubbard's 94. And with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, it's 49. So it's like, you know, numbers are reflections of each other, and they sync up very nicely with my parents' birthdays. And then the other thing is, the day I was born, it had a life lesson number of 49. Again, on this website, gematria.com, if you go to tools and date durations, again, remember, Derek plugged in a bunch of experimental date numerology paths on here, but at the same time, it has the real ones too. So if you go, these top 4 are all good methods up here. So you'll notice, my date birth numerology, the life lesson number is 49, right? 49. Just like Zach Hubbard's 49, and just like I was born 49 days, and I was actually born 49 days before my mother's 31st birthday, and that is your most pure date numerology method, just adding up each date, each digit of your date. So my birthday is July 21st, 1983, 7/21/1983. So you just add 7 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 3. That's considered the most, you know, pure method. And then, of course, from there you can take the numerology and break it down further. 31 becomes 3 plus 1 is 4. And you'll notice with these top 3 methods, they'll always break down to this same single digit. 49 is 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 is 1 plus 3 is 4. 130 is obviously 1 plus 3 plus 0 is 4. But born 49 days before my mother's 31st birthday. And then my dad's birthday, he's born April 18th, 1953. His birth numerology, notice it, 94, like my name, right? Zach Hubbard 94, and I was born 94 days after his birthday. And then he's also got 31 like me. You know, they say like father, like son. So, we really do have a lot in common, but it's just, it's mind-boggling stuff. And my mom, her birthday is September 8th, 1952. Her birth numerology is different. Hers is different, but she has the September 8th, the 9-8, and again, a lot like my father and I's names. Now, the other thing that's interesting is if you know the time you were born at, and if you go see an astrologer, they're going to want you to tell you not only what day you were born on, day, month, year, but they're going to want to know what time you were born at. And some of you will be fortunate enough to know that information. Others will not. And my mom remembers my birth time wrong, but my dad knows what time it is, and we looked it up, and it is correct. My mom used to always tell me I was born at 7:11 p.m., and she probably wanted to remember it that way because those numbers are so common. But it's actually more interesting the actual time I was born at, and that was 7:19 p.m., which in military time is 1919. So I was born at 1919. And I encourage you, when you start to look at your name and the people around you's names, and you know, your parents and your wife or your husband or your children, your best friends, I encourage you to just start with these ciphers, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, and especially focus on that one that's dark blue, the most pure one, just like the book I was reading said this is the one to look at. But I have to wonder if you should also look at the reverse, and I'll just make a point. So my dad's name, if I drop his middle name and we just look at Timothy Hubbard, in the most pure cipher, his name is 67, right? And then my mom, Donna Hubbard, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, her name is 67. And what's interesting about me being born at 1919 and these being my parents is that 67 is the 19th prime number. And I just remembered again, I'm clicking on the value and it's pulling up the prime number relationship, but you can't see that screen because of the way OBS is set up. So we'll go to number empire, and again, if you type in a number here, it'll tell you if it's prime and which one. So number 67, prime, yes, it's the 19th prime. And a few minutes ago, I was telling you about 251, which is the 54th prime. And again, 251, the 54th prime, the baseball thing. So anyway, my parents, if you take into account the reverse cipher, each of them have a 67 connection, which is the, again, 19th prime number. Their child born at 1919, and then with this perfect spacing between their birthdays. So I still remember when I was in the bookstore and I was reading this, I was kind of like gaffing at it, like, oh, come on, give me a break. Like not believing a word of it, but I was like, okay, I'll go home and check it out. I'll do the due diligence, but this sounds really silly to me. And, you know, I was 30 years old at the time, so I was over, well, it was about 6 years ago now, maybe a little more than 6 years ago. But it just reminds me how in my early 20s when this woman, Rennie, introduced me to astrology, I just thought it sounded so silly until I actually did the due diligence and started to actually read up and research. And I was like, wow, there seems to be something to this. So, again, the gematria is one part, but then the birth numerology is the other part. And you want to be looking at both parts, just like we did. And, again, this number 31. My birth numerology is 31. Again, 7/21/1983. You add it digit for digit, it's 31. My best friend growing up, his birthday was March 1st, 3/1. And his name was Adam, and I was Zach, and people always called us brothers from A to Z. And what's funny is I didn't even think about it at the time, but we ended up going to school together in Arizona, too. Abbreviated AZ. Being from Washington State. His birthday, March 1st. My other good friend, Norman, who doesn't talk to me anymore, he thinks I lost my mind because of this. His birth numerology is just like mine, 31 as well. And, you know, since I moved to Yakima, I've told you guys about King Henry before. I got a text message one day on the 509 number after I was at the gym, and this guy said, hey, do you work out at Planet Fitness? And I was like, okay, yeah, well, there are a lot of Planet Fitness. But no, it's a do you work out at Planet Fitness in Yakima? And sure enough, yeah, I did. And he had seen me at the gym. And it's too bad he didn't ask me in person. He said he was afraid to come up and ask me if it wasn't me. But him and I hang out now. And what's funny is he lives on 31st Street. So when he texted me his address, I smiled when I saw that. I was like, figures he lives on 31st Street. But again, the number 31, it's one that's come at me in a lot of ways over the years. And, you know, the other thing you'll find about this with the organic side, and for those of you who've listened to my radio show, you've heard people call in and say things like this a million times, like, I always had this fascination with this number. I always wore this jersey number. When I was growing up, numbers that I really liked were 49 and 37. And I like to have those numbers on my jersey, not realizing anything about my birth numerology or my name. I just like those numbers. And obviously the Zach Hubbard's 49 in the most pure cipher, but Zachary alone is 37. So, and also about using the other ciphers to look at your name. You see how like Zachary Keith Hubbard's 100 when you run it in reverse? I was born in Portland, which is 37 and 100. And there's a whole lot more to that too. Again, I won't be overkill. I just want to make enough of a point so that you know how to go home and look at this. Or in your own free time, do the same research. Let's see. Yeah, I've told you guys other stories too, just like about, you know, weird things. It was April 7th, 2014. I'd been researching this for close to the last year at the time, or the last 8 months. I'm pretty sure I began researching this August of 2013. So it was April 7th, 2014, a date that can be written 4-7 or 7-4. And, you know, I got 2 texts from 2 women who I dated in the past, like 2 years back and further. And they were both nice girls. It's not like there was any hard feelings or anything. It was just like... But, again, April 7th, the date that both these girls text out of nowhere, and I haven't talked to either of them in forever. And again, just with the alphabetic order. Maddie, 47. The other girl's name was Trish74, so Maddie and Trish text out of nowhere on this day. And it also weirded me out because, again, that I'd been studying like those numbers probably more than any other, 47 and 74. And I thought, what in the world is going on? But again, that's why paying attention to the organic side of this code is so interesting. And it, again, it's not like, I don't think you should try to force things and do things ritualistically by the numbers. I think it's just more about observing how things will come into your life or how things have already happened in the past that you weren't aware of. And, you know, just realizing that there is something going on. Because I imagine that this is how all of this began once upon a time. Maybe there was a clever enough person at some point to think of letters as numbers and, you know, to start looking at people's names and being like, aha, that's interesting that, you know, Tommy over there did that on this day, and, you know, Johnny did this on this day, and Susie this on this day. There must have been somebody at some point observing things like this and realizing that something is going on. And again, coming to the conclusion that this must be the way that the world operates, or this is how God operates. These beliefs didn't just come from nothing. And with the knowledge, you can observe that there's obviously something going on. And case in point, you know, I never thought I would live in Yakima, Washington. But here I am, where I live now. Of course, Sweet Lady brought me here. And Yakima, Washington, where we now are, has this 89 connection. So I guess I was destined to be here. It's also 73, the reflection of the 37. It's kind of got the 190, like the 19, like being born at 19. But again, with regards to the organic side and also how this sign is, or how this code is used ritualistically, what's interesting about Yakima, where I live, is it's considered the Sun Valley of Washington. It's the city in Washington state that gets the most sunshine per year. And it gets, I forget what they say, it gets like 307 days of sunshine or something like that. And Yakima equals 24, like the sun in the same cipher, how many hours there are in a day. And remember, 89 is the 24th prime number. So for Yakima to be the Sun Valley, it makes sense that it would be having this 24 name. Now, is that organic? I would say it's probably not, especially since the Masonic Lodge in this town is number 24. So again, the Masons who are aware of this knowledge do use the code ritualistically. So to come to Yakima and make it Lodge number 24, I don't think that's organic. It's possible it's organic, but in light of what we decode every day in the forced stories and the certain emphasized words and the contrived stories, again, that's why I don't think what we see in the media, at least 95 times out of 100, I don't think it's organic. Obviously, there's an organic side to the code, so perhaps sometimes organic things do slip in to the media reporting. But again, to differentiate between the two, it's like, okay, let's think about it this way. Do you think September 11th, 2001 was organic in light of all that we've uncovered over the years, a national emergency on 911, all the lies, all the fear-mongering, all the agenda that came out of it? So that would be my argument based on what we document every day in the media, why I think that they're using the code to essentially play God as opposed to everything every single day falling into line and it all being organic. Now to transition real quick back to the organic side, you see how Yakima is also 39? My sweet lady's name is May, right? And she's the one who essentially got me here. We came here so she could go to school. And May is 39, right? So May's the one who got me to Yakima. And a true story is when we first started dating, the first movie we ever saw was a movie that she had just seen and she really wanted me to watch. And the movie was called Case 39. And I didn't know Gematria when her and I first met. But now I look back at that, I'm like, that's funny that the very first movie you and I ever watched was Case 39. Because May is 39. And again, that's the fun side of the organic, or that's the fun part of knowing the organic side of the code, is just looking back and, you know, observing things like that from your past, but also just paying attention to strange things happen going forward. And one other thing I'll say is that with regards to the word spell and spelling and spell having to do with words and also with magic, sometimes I feel that by being aware of this code and by utilizing this code, sometimes I think it might make things that you could say are somewhat magical manifest in your life by accident. And case in point, so often, like, say it's like a 63 date numerology, and all day I'm writing about 63, right? I'm just doing blog posts about 63. I'm doing a presentation on 63. I'm making 4 videos that day talking about 63. And then sweet lady's like, hey, Zach, I feel like Thai food tonight. Will you please go get me some Thai food? So I call up the Thai food place, and guess what my order number is? It's the same number I've been talking about all day. And that's happened to me countless times, things just like that, in the time I've been doing this research. And it always blows my mind. I'm like, wow, the number that I've been focused on the most today just became my order number for my food. So, and then sweet lady, she's always devil's advocate. She thinks, her personal opinion is that everything that's happening is organic. She thinks that everything in the news every day falls into line this way because she's convinced this is how the world operates. She thinks everything is truly organic, and the media is just reporting on the organic side, and they don't realize it. I mean, if you want to believe that, you're inclined to believe that all you want. I think for her, it's more comfortable to think about it that way because she doesn't want to think that there's like an agenda and people are out unleashing viruses on the public and demolishing buildings. Well, she kind of sees that 9/11 was a big lie, so she actually does see that. But outside of that, she thinks everything else is organic. Again, I truly don't feel that it is that way. But yeah, the organic side is the most fun side of this knowledge. And I do realize that a lot of people want this information because it's the most popular phone call I get, text message I get, email I get, message I get. Zach, can you look into my numbers? And again, you guys, if you're here watching this lesson, I don't want you to ask me to look into your numbers. It's not hard to do, especially with this calculator. Just get out your pen and paper, take notes, document, write down the numbers from your birth numerology for yourself, the numbers for your name. And I would encourage you to just, again, start with the most pure cipher, and if you want to do one more, the alphabetic order. But then after you do that, you might want to comb through and look at the reverse too, because there probably is something to the reverse side as well, as I was just pointing out. So I think that's about all I have to say right now for the organic side. If you have downloaded my book, which all of you have access to do, again, if you are new here, if this is your first night signing up, be sure to go back and watch lessons 1, 2, 3, and if you have time, 4. But definitely watch the first 2 lessons. Definitely watch 1 and 2. 3 is where we practice with 1 and 2, and then lesson 4 is where we talk about murder by numbers. Because again, that's very repetitive, what goes on in this world. And again, there absolutely is an organic side to being born by the numbers and dying by the numbers. Here, I'll give you one more. Last spring, my grandmother died, and her name was Judith Charles. That's my dad's mom, my grandma. I was driving to see her that day, May 5th, 2019. She passed away before I got to see her, but notice her name in the most pure cipher is 57. I notice her name is 138, like my name too, if I write Zach Hubbard. That's my dad's, or no, Zachary Hubbard, excuse me. My full first name. And her name's 78 too, huh? I actually never realized that while we were both alive. Huh. Judith Charles. So her and I got overlap in 2 of the ciphers, but that's my dad's mom. And with regards to that 57 though, she died May 5th, and her birthday was July 1st. And she died 57 days before her birthday. And it was sad because she was doing well until she got put in a nursing home, and in the nursing home they were giving her a lot of morphine, and I think it really accelerated her demise. Pretty sure she would have lived past May 5th, but That's what happened, and I remember when she died because I'd just been tracking the organic side just when things have happened in my own life, and I thought, how weird. She dies 57 days before her birthday. So, and now today I just noticed how our names, again, the same in 2 out of the ciphers. So again, that was my dad's mother. And I'll always feel bad because I told her I was going to come see her one more time at least. And I was on my way, but I was too late. So, anyhow, 5/5 was the date. All right, well, good news is I turned off this cell phone for a long time that I take the calls on, and when I turned it back on, I did a test run. I just called myself from my other phone number, and the speaker was finally working again. It was not working for like 24 hours, but when I called myself from my other phone, the speaker worked. So I think it'll work, so I think we'll be able to take your calls and play it on the speaker so other people can hear. But for the rest of this show, we'll just take your calls, any questions you got. I'm happy to answer them if I can. And if you need any review from the past weeks, you're welcome to call in about that. If there's anything you want me to cover in next week's lesson, happy to do that as well. But the number to call in, again, it's the same number every week, so write it down, save it in your phone. It's 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. Tonight's lesson a lot shorter than the past weeks. But again, the organic side, it's relatively straightforward, and I think we covered all the main things there. So we got a call here from Maryland. What's going on, Maryland?
Hey, what's up, Zach? How you feeling, man? It's Marco.
Hey, doing well, Marco. Thanks.
Good, man. Good. I don't have no big decodes for you tonight. Just have something very, very interesting for you.
Okay.
Listened to a guy earlier, and he broke down basically that he was listening to the History Channel, and it was on Elvis, believe it or not.
Okay.
And essentially, I don't know if you remember one of the other, I think it was just last week, a guy called in and said that Elvis got a lot of his dance lessons from like black students or something like that.
Right.
Come to find out, man, the History Channel is saying that Elvis is black. He's actually from a mixed he's from a mixed people. They're called Melungeons. You can look it up right now if you don't mind. It's spelled MELUNGEONS. Now, Melungeons are people that are known to come out. I did research on it all day. Melungeons are people that are supposed to come out of the Appalachian Trail, the Appalachian Mountains. And most of the people that are Melungeon come from Virginia, Kentucky, and also Tennessee. Basically, from my studying on it, man, I found out that he, in fact, was Melungeon. So was Abraham Lincoln. And get this, so is Tom Hanks, man.
Really? Tom Hanks as well, huh?
Tom Hanks is related to Abraham Lincoln, man.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because I still remember the NBC article or story that NBC did when Obama became president. They showed all the actors and presidents that are all related and connected to royal bloodlines.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, how they're related is through Abraham Lincoln's mother. Her name was Nancy Lincoln. If you look up her maiden name is Nancy Hanks. She's also related, Nancy Hanks, get this one. They're also related to Camille Olivia Hanks Cosby, Bill Cosby's wife. She's related to Tom Hanks.
Huh.
So I just thought that was super deep, man. I didn't realize that the whole time that I'm watching the Cosby Show. I don't know if if you were a fan or not. I used to watch it like crazy. But her maiden name was Claire Hanks Huxtable. Actually, Claire Olivia Hanks Huxtable, and that was Camille's real name. Her name is Camille Olivia Hanks Cosby.
Huh.
So basically, the whole show was based on Bill Cosby's real wife, and not even knowing the whole time that when they kept saying Hanks, 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 she's related to again Abraham Lincoln's mother and also Tom Hanks. So these people, basically these Melungeons, a lot of them, and I did call in the other week, and I talked about how Tom Hanks had the ancestry of being Portuguese. Well, a lot of these people would claim that they were Portuguese so they could escape the whole thing with the slavery or whatever. So, yeah, I just wanted to lay that on you. Like I say, no big decodes a day or nothing like that, but I just thought that was super interesting. I think that's something to look into. You know what I mean?
Indeed. And you said that this information was in a special on the History Channel?
Yeah, the guy said that was on the History Channel. I honestly didn't see the actual episode that it was on the History Channel, but once I started punching things up on Google, it did bring me up to, again, the Melungeons, and they did break down basically what the guy was saying. It did, put the stamp on it that basically, yes, again, Tom Hanks is Melungeon, so is Abe Lincoln, and so is the other guy, man. Who else? Who else I just said?
Let's see.
I'm sorry. Tom Hanks.
Abraham Lincoln and
Abraham Lincoln.
Elvis.
And Elvis, duh. Yeah, Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to drink it too tonight. Sorry. But yeah, super deep, man. Please check that out. It's just something that, just kind of blows your mind again. Funny how Tom Hanks will be related to one of the U.S. presidents. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Indeed. I think it's funny that they wrote an article about this, the Daily Mail, and they mentioned that Tom Hanks is 56 years old at the time, that number that keeps coming up with him now. So this article about him being related to Abraham Lincoln while he was 56. Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. Something else. All right, yeah, good find, man. Appreciate that. Learn something new.
Yeah, you got it, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right, take care. All right, new word, Melungeon. Caller, you got to mute the video. You're on.
I think it's funny that they wrote an article about...
Caller, you got to mute the video. You're on.
All right, man.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
All right, man. Yeah, appreciate everything you're doing. Yeah, I wanted to speak on Tom Hanks. He was just talking about him. I don't know if y'all seen the post that I put on the community about Tom Hanks. It was like a news thing that came out that they wanted to use Tom Hanks' blood is being used to develop a coronavirus vaccine.
Okay, that was a story I meant to look up. Somebody else gave me a tip about that too. Something about his plasma to make a vaccine.
Yeah, I just saw that, man. That just, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh yeah, man. I wanted to ask, man, about that. I've heard about a fake alien invasion. Is that something that you've talked about already? Maybe I might have missed.
That's
in the near future or something.
That's the Project Bluebeam idea, which has been a concept that's been out there for a while. I mean, it's possible. I'd have to do some more research on it, but the whole time I've been here, there's always been people leaving comments that saying Project Bluebeam's going to happen next month. The alien invasion's going to happen next month. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't try that at some point in the future, especially since at the 1984 Olympics, they had that was in Los Angeles. They had the alien come down from the UFO as part of the performance. So, you just never know.
Yeah.
But
yeah. One more thing, man. I don't know if you've heard of Max Prime.
Max Bryan?
John. I forget his name. He's a numerologist, so he claims.
Is it Brian?
No.
Max Bryan?
No, it's Max Prime. That's it.
Max Prime.
I think it's Gary the Numbers Guy.
Oh, Gary the Numbers Guy. Oh man, yeah, Gary the Numbers Guy. He knows some things, but he's a punk. He used to call into my radio show until I embarrassed him too bad, and then he never called back again. So here's all I got to say about Gary the Numbers Guy. Here's what I'll tell you about Gary the Numbers Guy character. So the year of the 2016 World Series, which was the year the Cubs beat the Indians in the World Series to break the 108-year drought, again, Major League's 108, 108 double stitches in a baseball. That year in spring training, it was obvious the Cubs were going to win the World Series because Vegas was only paying out 2-1 on the Cubs winning the World Series in spring training, which is a joke. You can get better odds than that every single night of the week on certain games. If you bet $50 in spring training, they would have only paid you $100. Which isn't bad it's a good investment. Like you can't get double your money on a bank account, but anyway, it's nothing to pay for the start of a season to win the World Series. So anyway, I knew for sure, I guaranteed in spring training the Cubs would win the World Series. Gary, the Numbers Guy, all year on his Twitter was making fun of my pick, guaranteeing that the Cubs wouldn't win. He picked so many teams throughout the year that were going to win it. He kept changing his pick. He had like 5 different teams that were going to win the World Series that season. I was paying attention because he kept going after me that year. And then even when the World Series was down to Indians and Cubs, he did a thing while I was wrong again and why the Indians would win the World Series. And sure enough, they didn't. The Cubs beat the Indians in Game 7. That's the other thing I said. I said why the Cubs were going to win it in Game 7 94 days before Game 7 even came up. I still remember why. I did a video 94 days to Game 7 and why the Cubs would win the World Series in Game 7. And by the way, for people who were with me that year, in spring training, I picked the Cubs to win the World Series, and I said the most likely team for them to beat is the Houston Astros. Once the Astros were eliminated, I said, okay, if not the Astros, it's got to be the Indians. So we had that before the postseason even began. But anyway, the thing about Gary the Numbers Guy is, after the Cubs won the World Series, he built a website called Gematria Fraud with my face on it. And I was like, wow, so after you're wrong with your 5 picks for who's going to win the World Series, you're going to make a website called Gematria Fraud and put my face on it? So, I mean, that's just a scumbag move. Yeah. So, yeah, he's a total scumbag. And the real reason he hates me is because he's charging people thousands of dollars for this knowledge, and I'm putting it out for free. Yeah. So, and for people who don't know, back then I did everything for free.
Myself.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, you shouldn't be charging, it's crazy. But yeah, I appreciate everything you've been doing, man.
All right, appreciate it, man. Take care.
Yes, sir.
All right, see you.
You too.
Caller?
I was like, wow. So after
Caller, you got to mute your video. You're on.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? This is Anthony. It's my first time calling.
Thanks for calling, Anthony.
Man, I wanted to talk about like the significance in the organic side of the code.
Sure.
Now, when I used to work at an amusement park, I used to do security, and my number was 122. And I used to always see this number after a few years. I see it on the time, on the mileage, on the dashboard, or I wake up in the middle of the night, hit my phone, I see 122, and I always wanted to know what that number was. So come to find out, 221 days from my mom's birthday is my birthday, and like reverse, 122 days from my birthday would be hers, like before, not
Sure.
the other year.
Sure.
And like I've seen like the organic side with like the friends that I know and their name, like they would come out the house, I look at the time, and their name would be like the time like 46, and it'd be like 406, and I'm like, that's crazy. I've seen 2 buses drive by, it'd be 23 and 23, 46. And it's crazy, like the organic side. I learned that you meet people in your life that have numbers that correlate with yours, and it's pretty actually amazing. Shows you that God is real.
Indeed. And hey, just to remind something. So when I first went down to Seattle to raise awareness about Event 201, when we were leaving Seattle and about to get on the interstate to head back to Yakima, the bus that was going down the freeway, and you don't even normally see buses on the freeway, but anyway, the bus that was right there on the freeway, of course it was number 201. And I was like, look at that. We're down here educating about 201. The last bus we're going to see in Seattle before we get out of here is number 201. And again, that's exactly what I said to Sweet Lady. I said, see, that's confirmation from the universe that we're down here doing the right thing. So.
Yeah, it is. It's actually pretty crazy. Every day, literally every day, I look at the time, and it's just like I don't even have to look at my phone. If I hear a text message, the first text message of the day, not all text messages will line up with the code, but the first text message of the day, I look at the time. I know exactly who it is, and it's really kind of interesting.
Sure.
I love to see that.
Sure.
And I just wanted to bring up one thing, and just 10 seconds about it. When you brought up Pop Smoke, I was looking into Travis Scott and Nicki Minaj, and Travis Scott's birthday is coming up April the 30th.
Okay.
And that has 74 date numerology and 38 numerology. And he'll be 27 years old, and rapper equals 74. A lot of stuff with Travis Scott. He just did something with Fortnite and a tour, and I believe tour equals 38 or 46. Travis equals 46. Sacrifice and
Houston, Texas. He's a Houston rapper, right? Houston, Texas is 46. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing about April 30th this year is it's the 121st day of the year, and with the alphabetic order, blood sacrifice is 121, and as often as rappers die with the connection to 74. I'm not saying he's going to die that day, but maybe we'll read about another hip hop related death on that day, and it might be as somebody who collaborated with Travis Scott at some point. It's usually like a lesser known artist, but sometimes it is the big famous one too. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on that day. Yep, April 30th.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. If somebody who was like, around him or something, I don't think it would be him. But yeah, so it was great talking with you, and I love your lessons. I found you in April. I read your book. I'm on Patreon, and I love what you do. You're very hard worker. I love it. I watch your videos every day, and if I don't catch up, I try to catch up. I watch them every single day.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in, and I appreciate the information too. Thank you.
No problem at all. You enjoy your night.
Yeah, you have a good night. Thanks.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. Well, the line is open if anybody wants to call in. It's the 509 number. This article is posted today, but this news must have come out before today because I know somebody told me about this yesterday. So this must be this news source. Oh, here we go. 2 days ago from Variety. Caller?
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, not much. Anyway, I like what you're talking about tonight about the organic side of things. I did a post recently on my blog with regards to JFK and his assassination. And even by like the age of 8, 9, or 10, I knew that the explanation from the Warren Commission was bullshit. I think anyone with an IQ above 60 knows that. But, I was able to kind of do the gematria of it. And it's just funny because I didn't even really, think it was going to link at all towards the COVID stuff, but 263 plays prominently because National Security Action Memo 263, which he issued literally 42 days before his death, it was talking about, scaling back the war effort in Vietnam, and again, 263, the 56 prime, then we think of flights on 9/11, flights 11, 77, and 175. That sums to 263, and of course the Salk vaccine was announced on 3/26 or 26/3, and then also the find you had recently with Microsoft and their 666 cryptocurrency patent. That was also on the anniversary of Salk's vaccine, so that was 3/26 or 26/3, and then I started digging even deeper. In 1913, there was the Great Dayton Flood, and it was, I guess, the Great Miami River, and that's the official name of it. Well, that sums to 201, 102, and it's just crazy when you look at throughout the history of this country. So many major things have happened on March 26th. The Iwo Jima, I know they raised a flag. It's kind of an iconic photograph. I think it was Pulitzer or whatever.
Sure.
And so anyway, that was raised on middle of February, towards the end of the war in 1945. But it was taken officially on March 26, 1945. The Marines and the U.S. Military forces, finally took it on that date. And so like I said, I know a lot of it's manipulated by the powers that shouldn't be, but also, the fact that, sometimes I thought about that, like when I was doing the thing with Kennedy, it never dawned on me. Then afterward, it was like, it kind of hit me like, it should have been more obvious. That was a huge event in the nation's history. They took out, a president that had a pair of balls, and everybody since him hasn't had a set. And, they've just kind of been good boys and done what they were told by the owners. And so it's just like, well, it makes sense. It does somehow link to the Salk vaccines, 9/11, and other major events of this nation's history. And so, yeah, man, it's just crazy. And I just wanted to, share some news. I've been pounding pavement here, at work with friends of mine, and I'm starting to have a better success rate. And I think some of it is, like you were talking about earlier in that video that YouTube took down with Madonna. Anyway, just not throwing the numbers at them so much, but just explaining, hey, isn't it curious that this happened on this date? I mentioned a thing about Jonas Salk to a couple of friends, and they were like, yeah, that's really crazy. And so, I don't know if it's going to pay dividends or not, but at least they're kind of aware of that. And I think that's a great method for not scaring the hell out of people, because I do think numbers tend to, make people fly away a little bit. And, I don't mean to take up so much time, Zach, but the last thing I was going to say is with the Corona typewriters, it's such patent nonsense and bullshit on its face. Who carries around a 20-pound piece of shit typewriter? Nobody does. and I mention that because, in college, my father, he was, he did the best he could, but he was an alcoholic and, kind of wasted a lot of money on booze. So instead of having a laptop or a word processor, I an electric typewriter, and I remember it was a Brother was the name of the brand. And then it made me think of that. I'm like, that thing was a heavy bastard. I didn't lug it around. It always stayed in my dorm room. And it's just like, obviously there's a connection to Smith Corona, because if not, why not go with another name brand like Underwood or Remington or Olympia? These are even better known names. And again, no one's going to use that a typewriter, because you can't post on Instagram with it. You can't post on YouTube or Facebook. And it's packed nonsense. And I'm kind of convinced that they're showing us that this script was written a long time ago, if they're using old-ass typewriters to, push the narrative.
Right. I have the same take that it was written long ago, and that is the mockery of it. So, yeah, I think we're living out a long script, and we're going to keep living it out unless we do something about it. So that's what remains to be seen. But
yeah, it's crazy. By the way, Smith Corona, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on July 5th, 1995. That was the day in history that Bill Gates was first announced as the world's richest man by Forbes magazine.
Is that right? That's crazy.
That's right.
Huh.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, and I look it up. I'll whenever you post this, for the greater readership, people that follow you, I'll post it there, or on Free to Find Truth for sure. I'll do that after this phone call, in fact. But yeah, July 5th, 1995, I don't know what the significance of that number is off the top of my head.
Well, so July 5th is interesting to Bill Gates, because that date can be written 5-7. Bill Gates is 57, so is the word vaccine. Of course, Scottish Rite's 57, and then it can also be written 7-5, like New World Order is 75, so he seems like he's a New World Order agent. But
okay, yeah, I'll post that on Free to Find Truth, but that's just crazy, and I'm thinking that's not a coincidence. I mean, those two events, Smith Corona playing a central role in some of this reporting, this nonsense, and then the very same day in history that they declared bankruptcy is when Forbes listed for the first time that Bill Gates was the world's richest person.
Indeed. And just to remember about the 263 being the 56th prime, remember that number has a lot of connections to the nation's capital, because Washington, D.C. is 56, Society of Jesus is 56. Of course, the Jesuits were there before the nation's capital was. So...
Yep, and coronavirus.
And just like even how recently we were talking about that Microsoft patent date, the 666 patent, the electronic currency that tracks your body movement, that was filed or published on March 26th as well. So yeah,
and that has 113 paragraphs in the description tab.
Right.
I mean, that's not by accident. They're doing this on purpose. They want to tell a little bit on themselves, and I guess it's just in their mind. Hey, we told these idiots it was going to happen, and it happened anyway. They're idiots.
Right. Indeed. All right. Appreciate it, man. Keep up the great work. All right. Take care. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Victor?
Just relaxing, man. I've been trying to get to you for a couple of days. I'll tell you something I found out. It's kind of interesting.
I'm hearing some feedback, Victor.
Donald Trump's inauguration day, right?
There's some feedback coming through. You hear that?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now, Zach?
That's better.
All right. Yeah, so Trump's inauguration day is January 20th, right?
Right.
But the very next day was the largest single-day protest in U.S. history, which was the Women's March in protest of the newly, appointed President Donald Trump.
Right.
So that's also the anniversary day of Patient Zero, 121.
And wasn't Madonna at that?
Yeah, I believe she was. Yep, along with a lot of other people.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, so we're taking it a little further now. So as we know, Donald Trump is from Queens, New York.
Right.
Which is kind of funny. But I went and looked all the way back, so we've been talking about the 19th Amendment and everything like that. So check this out. The president, in the first election that women were able to vote, 1920, was Warren Harding. And Warren Harding died in office, Zach.
Right.
Of cardiac arrest at 57. Right?
Right.
And this year is the 155th anniversary, which is that Freemasonry number.
Sure. Freemasons, the plural.
President.
It's just so people remember, Freemasons, the plural is 155, and Masonic rituals 155, like coronavirus, but okay.
And he had one daughter. Her name was Elizabeth Ann.
Huh.
The 29th president, and he was the first president president to be a sitting senator when he was actually elected. And as we all know, Senator Elizabeth Warren is sitting right now on the back burner with what's his name, Buzzy Joe Biden over there.
Sure. Yeah.
Let me see what else. Let me see. I had a couple other things. Okay, so he was born in 1865, so that pandemic number is 65. Let me see. One more other thing. So that was the 34th quadrennial election, they called it. I don't even know what quadrennial means, but
every 4 years. Every 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the 34th election. Warren 34, Democrat 34. And interesting thing, this year's election's 11/3. Warren Harding's birthday is 11/2, the day before.
Huh.
So just info, you always take it to the next level. I just wanted you to have that. But that 121, Rambo's Divine Feminine, how it relates back to the Women's March the day after Trump's inauguration. I'm sure it wasn't by accident. So.
Right. Indeed. Yeah, those are really great observations. Awesome work, Victor.
All right, then. Have a good one.
All right, take care, Victor. Appreciate it, man.
Bye.
Yeah, something I've been wondering about Trump ever since he was on the campaign trail is 8 presidents have died in office. Now we're on the 45th president. 45 is the 9th triangular number. Doesn't mean that Trump has to be the 9th to die, but we do know how that number connects to him. And, again, just to remind about the presidents who've died in office, again, I got a whole chapter on this in my book. Lots of information, but William Henry Harrison is the shortest term president in the history of the country. Died 1 month into his term on 4/4. Sure, we know all about 44. Caller?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Since you were doing organic gematria, I thought I'd throw out a couple things real quick.
Okay.
So, I had seen 607 my whole life growing up. 607 everywhere. And I know I've told this story before. I'm not sure if it was on your channel, but anyway, I ended up having kids. And they, sure enough, they were 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day apart. Like 111, which is the 607th prime number.
Sure.
Or no, that's backwards, right? 607 is the 111th prime number.
There you go. That's the one.
And so in my family too, I have a lot of people that have matching birthdays. Like I have a grandma, and we have the exact same birthday. And so I was looking at the gematria, and sure enough, her name is Mildred, not our Mildred, of course, but her name is Mildred, which is 38. And then my name, Jared, which is also 38. And her whole life, her nickname was Snooky. Everyone calls her that.
Sure.
And that is 38. And so I looked at my mom and my sister. They have matching birthdays. And Monica is 28 and Casey is 28. So I've just been going through. It's like, oh my word. And it's like everyone that has a matching birthday, because there's more, they all have at least one that line up. It is crazy. It is like so much stuff that you find that I didn't even realize until I, learned this stuff. It's crazy. And then our town, I found out, was established on 38, March 8th.
Sure.
So, it's just, wow, that's just insane.
It is. It is. It's really weird when you look at the organic side. It's like, how does this even happen? But somehow it does. So
I know, and you go to find something. Not only do you find it, but you find so much more just every time it seems. I was actually looking at what our local lodge number was too, and it turns out that is, it's the 24th district, it says, and the lodge number is 365, like the number of days of the year. So I thought that was pretty interesting too.
Sure. Yeah.
But whatever it means, I don't know. But anyway, I thought I'd just throw that out there since we're doing organic stuff.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
Oh, I switched over 1 second too late. Let me call this person back. This person's from the 949 area code. Let me. How come when I'm clicking it, it's making them go? And they've called in a bunch. Oh, they're calling back again. Okay, they got through. Caller, you're on.
Hey, what's up, Zach? How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Real good, brother. Hey, I just wanted to call you to you know how you know how sometimes you don't feel like watching videos. I'm glad you have the Gematria Fake News to read.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you have that, bro. Because you know how sometimes you just don't feel like watching videos.
Sure. Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you have that, bro. So to go on just to read.
Indeed.
Yeah, right on, brother. Let me see what and also the website you got, that's pretty cool too, bro. Because like on Facebook, you just have friends, right? But the website you have is like you can make friends with actually like with the same interests.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's the whole purpose.
Cool, bro.
That's the whole purpose. You get tired of looking at cat videos and you want to talk about some true stuff? Come over to freetofindtruth.com. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, bro. And I was listening. Hey, was that Victor, the guy you're gonna refer us to?
That's the same Victor who does sports. Yep. Victor and Rod are doing the sports. Yep.
Yeah. He sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I just realized it's 6:07 right here right now after the last caller. It's his time, 6:07. Anyway. But, yeah, man, I'm glad you're using the websites, and I agree. I mean, the thing about the website is, like, because normally when I make a video probably lasts at least 10 or 15 minutes. If you just go through and scroll all the posts, I mean, you can probably scroll all the decodes I did for the day in 15 minutes and get even more information in that time, so.
Yeah. One more thing, brother, because California cares about you. I was listening to you were talking about earlier about this guy, Larry, by the numbers.
Gary with a G, yeah, Gary.
Yeah, and I guess I heard that, that this guy's charging thousands of dollars for this information, and you're putting it out for free.
Right. That's why he went after me.
Bro, be careful with people like that, bro. Because I mean, you're a grown man, bro, but people do some funny things, and even stupid things over money, bro.
Sure.
Like even family, bro. Like my grandmother passed away last year, and she left me and my other brothers and family. Just whatever little things. And like my own family they were like over money, bro. I was like, wow, we're supposed to be family, and you're acting like this over money. So just be safe, bro. Because some people do stupid things for money, bro.
I hear you, man, and I appreciate the reminder. I hear you. So.
No problem, brother.
All right, thanks for the support, man. You have a good night.
No problem. Bye.
All right, take care. All right, so Roseanne, very active. Appreciate it, Roseanne. She's even sharing my stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about Free to Find Truth. If you guys aren't signed up on here, again, it's completely free. And lots of people just making very interesting observations. Like, for example, what were the odds of the Dennis Rodman part of the story being the day after the Kim Jong-un rumored death, when I'm sure you're aware of the Dennis Rodman North Korea stories as they've been covering for a number of years. I think that started like back in 2013, if I remember right, somewhere around there. But yeah, just lots of people using their own eyes, sharing information. And again, Facebook's the place for cat videos. Free to Find Truth, the place for truthful observations. What's up, caller?
Hey, what's up, Zachy? How are you, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Great, fan. Well, yeah, man. So I'm watching it right now. I'm just catching up with everything. I'm a Patreon supporter, so I'm still going to donate and support the team, because everything that you're saying, man, is freaking crazy, yo. Like literally, these numbers follow me, and these numbers have been following me for at least a year now. And I just want to ask you one question: like, what does it mean if every single day I see like 111, 222, 1111, 1212, 10, my birthday, my girlfriend's birthday? Like, what does that mean?
Okay, so here's my advice on that. If you start doing so a lot of times they're referred to as angel numbers when they're that rep digit like 3 times. Do like search angel number 111, angel number 222, because the thing about numerology and astrology is it's like they're not exact sciences. So there's people who have information and ideas, but they have different ideas and competing ideas, and some things might be in agreement, but some things might be different. So I would do some research on those numbers that you're seeing all the time, because you might read something and you'd be like, okay, that makes sense in my life because you know what's going on in your life. So I can't tell you the answer to that, and I'm not as much of an expert in knowing the meaning of the numbers to give you something that's solid. So research that. Type in angel number in the numbers that you just said to me, and then read some different people's information on those and what they represent. And I bet you'll find in there, like, okay, that's what it's got to mean to me because that's what's going on in my life. So.
Right. All right. And my last question, man, this is very important. So my aunt has been married to my former uncle for like about 8 years now, and he's a Mason, but he's of the 32nd degree, and he's gonna get his 33rd soon. When he has to go up there, like, should I be worried about that, or like, should I ever talk about him with certain things? Like, what should I do with that?
Well, it's never good to live in fear or worry, and yeah, I understand why it's creepy, just because so much stuff goes on. Well, do you know what he does for a living?
He sells houses. He's a realtor, but he's like a family man. Like, he loves my family. He's like a very good guy. And so like me and him always have these talks, and I told him that I'm learning about Gematria and stuff. But he acted like he didn't know what it was. And, you know, he's told me some information, but obviously there's some things he can't tell me. But I just didn't know how to really come about that, because when we had that talk, he pretended he didn't know. I'm pretty sure a 32nd degree knows what Gematria is. So I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to tell you, like, what, like.
Well, I hear you, man, because it does seem that a lot of these times when these people get up there and they start getting offers that are too good to refuse, then people around them start dropping like flies, and I guess it would just depend on what his integrity is. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I would tell you not to live in fear, but at the same time, I guess I would just be extra attentive if something seems off. If he invites you over some night or something that just seems out of the ordinary, that's the kind of thing that I might be like, you know what, I'm doing something else tonight. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because if he's a 33rd degree, then that's, like, to me, that's crazy. Like, that's concerning. You know, that he has power is what I'm thinking. So.
Yeah, not many people make it up there. So yeah, he's starting to get up there. So. Yeah, it's just, we know stuff like this is going on in the world, so, I mean, at least you have the knowledge and awareness, and I would just use that and use your own intuition, but I wouldn't live in paranoia, and I wouldn't bring up stuff like that to him, because, honestly, that could be a thing, too. Like, if you're too much of a rabble-rouser and you're someone who's close to this, then that might become more worrisome for you, so I would just use the knowledge and awareness to play it safe. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, of course. I'm king. I'm strapped, so I'm worried about him. But he seems like a good guy, so, you know, me and him respect each other and everything. As far as that, you know, thanks so much for teaching us about this, man. I really very much appreciate it, and I'll continue donating, bro.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thanks for calling in tonight. You take care, man.
All right, man. You.
All right, see you. Caller?
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Long time. Everything.
Hey, it's Rod, isn't it? This is Rod, isn't it? What's up, Rod?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
What's going on, man? Long time. Everything good?
Everything's good. Yeah, how are you?
Good, man. Good. Just same old. I'm still working, and actually, man, I done picked up. My boy got his own business, so he got me. I'm learning how to. He's training me from scratch. Basically, I'm getting on roofs now. I'm cleaning gutters. It's great money, but basically, I'm learning how to walls. You know, so I'm doing that, and I'm still on that restaurant. So I've been working, man.
Sure. Well, I'm glad you're working, because a lot of people are looking for work right now, so that's good. And be careful up on those roofs.
Definitely. I ain't think I got I'm probably like 30 days in, maybe like not even 30 days in, or right at 30 days, but I would never think I would have got this far. I'm actually like, you know, I don't know if you ever did it, you could look on YouTube, but basically I got on the harness, and then the guy with a rope, a guy holding me, and then the guy cleaning the blower. So it's a science to it, you know what I mean? It's like, long as that guy sits down or he's stable on the top of that roof, pretty much you ain't going nowhere.
Sure.
You know, even if you fall, like my first couple of days when they put him on the roof, I can't walk the roof, so I'll fall. But when you fall, you're falling right on the roof. You can't go nowhere.
Sure.
Because that man got you on that rope, kind of like a dog on the chain.
Sure.
But you up in the sky. But man, I came a long way, man. I only been doing it for like 30 days, but definitely, man, I'm proud of myself for, you know, doing that.
Nice, man. I'm glad to hear things are going well for you. So now that gives me another question. Are you going to have the free time to do the sports decoding once it's back up?
Yeah, I'm just less sleep. Like right now, I don't know. My live streams will probably be definitely a little different. The live streams will be different, but the picks, the notes, I just less sleep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I gotta get your information and Victor's information back up there because I know they're gonna fire back up the sports stuff here probably in the not too distant future. So.
Right. And I still got my people. I've probably lost about 50 people, but I'm not worried about it. I'm comfortable. Like the people I already told my people who stay, I'm gonna do something real special for them because they don't have to be with me right now these last month or two. No sports. I really appreciate the people that's still here. But I told you that when I had 75 people, I told you I didn't want no more people because I just feel like the more it's like. It made me a better gambler, so I feel like if I'm giving out good picks, it's more people. If I got 10,000 people, that means 10,000 people playing my picks.
Sure.
And I don't want that. It's
sure.
gonna probably. I don't want to move the line. Like sometimes you'll say it's too many people riding it. So I kind of want to be like low key. So that's the only reason why I don't even really want. I'm comfortable where I'm at now. When sports do get back rolling, I'm still gonna be the same way, same live stream. But with just trying to get people, that's not the most important thing, man. I had two things to share with you too. Leading up to this point, Zach, we're not gonna wake these people up, man. The people who's gonna get woke up, they gonna get woke up. But it's just, I don't want to say impossible, Zach, to get everybody on the same page. But what I'm seeing, Zach, if you can get LeBron James, you can get the best rapper, you can get everybody to come out tomorrow and say the coronavirus is a hoax. We've been lied to. People still gonna want to do what they want to do. Don't nobody want the truth, Zach. Even if our own leaders stepped up, like Donald Trump, This is another thing I want to talk to you about. Donald Trump, when he talks, because I watch the news, that's the only thing you can't watch these days, Zach. When he talks, he tells you that CNN is fake news. Like, I never heard a president talk like this. Like, how is he bashing his own? It's the same agenda. The media and Donald Trump is on the same agenda. So why is he bashing? Like every time you hear Donald Trump, he talk about fake news. Everything you talk about, he literally used the word hoax. He said the Democrats are using the coronavirus as a hoax. That's his words. So I wanted to ask you, like, what's your opinion on that with Donald Trump? Like.
Sure. So he's half-truthing because he'll have the people believing that Fox News is the truth, but CNN's a lie. When really, I mean, they're both liars. So it's like he's giving people half the truth, but not letting them see the full picture. They're believing like, oh, well, CNN's the hoax news, so I'm tuning into Fox News. And again, that's not right either. So that's kind of how Donald Trump rolls.
I see what you're saying. See, and another thing that ties in what we were saying too. So now you got YouTube. I was watching a video now. Normally when you watch YouTube, when it first came out, they give you one commercial. Now, every 5 minutes, they give you advertisements and commercials every 10 minutes. So look, now YouTube they own brand got a YouTube commercial comes on, black guy. Hey man, the coronavirus is a hoax. While y'all in the house, I'm getting money. I can show you 5 ways. Click the link in the below on the description. He's basically telling you that the coronavirus is a hoax. Now this is YouTube commercial. This is their advertisement.
Now hold up, Rod, hold up right there. So I have never seen this ad. What that tells me is that their ads where people are tuning in. You're from Atlanta. You're from a predominantly black city. I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest, which is predominantly white. So I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos. I have not seen that ad. So that's an ad that's targeted for your city. I guarantee it. When did you start seeing that ad?
I just seen this like 2 days ago watching.
See?
I don't know if you ever heard of him, but it's a guy called Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters. He's got almost, he's good, man. He drops jewels, but he got almost 2 million subscribers. But you ought to look him up. But I was watching his video, and he's straight telling you, he's dropping knowledge. He's telling you that it's fear. Basically, that this corona is basically fear. So he's basically preaching the same thing that everybody else saying. But in one of his videos, the commercial, it's a guy come on telling you, like, hey, he's basically, I just don't understand, how can YouTube put that commercial on? You feel me? And then they, like, when people say 5G and coronavirus in the same video, videos have been getting flagged and censorship. You feel me? You can't even talk the way you want to talk.
Right.
And then YouTube alone, I'm telling you, y'all going to see this video. I'm not playing like it. Like, if you start watching Ralph Smart, it's a video on YouTube. Literally, this this guy saying the corona, he's basically getting on everybody with a mask on, everybody that's in the agenda, and he's telling you while y'all sleeping, this is the best time to make money. And I can teach you how to make money if you click the link and below. It's crazy. Like, I've never seen nothing like it, but the same breath YouTube to try to censorship or you know, demonetize your video if you try to talk about 5G and the coronavirus. So that's why I'm lost there too. It's like, it's crazy. It's like, that's why, going back to my original point, the people not going to get it, Zach. They just not going to get it, period.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And that's why I always go back to that movie title, A Few Good Men, because that's the movie where the phrase comes from, you can't handle the truth. Why would they put that in A Few Good Men? Because only a few people can handle the truth, yeah?
Exactly. See, so now I'm really understanding. So now it's like with the people, if they come to me, they come to me, man. I'm tired of trying to give people the juice and wake people up. People just not gonna get it. LeBron James can get on TV tomorrow and he can say it out his mouth. People still gonna eat their Cheetos and watch the sports. That's just what they gonna do, you know. So
right.
You know, like so I don't want you to stress out, you know, because I know you want a big agenda right now. I know you want to change the world, but I really want you to understand that everybody's on different clocks. Everybody don't wake up at the same time. You feel me? Everybody get up different. Everybody on a different alarm clock. So it's like, you can talk all the realness. Like, we'd be like, how can you not see this? Like, how can you think 9/11 wasn't a hoax, but you can't, everybody can't see what we are lucky to see. We are actually, like, blessed to have our bodies and our eyes to see this stuff, because it's crazy, man. People cannot see it. You feel me?
Indeed, it is a blessing to have eyes to see. But like all things, it's good and bad. I mean, at the same time, it can be frustrating because you're like, God, why can I not see what can I see? Why can I see what 9 other people can't see when they should all be able to see it too? But yeah, you're right on, man. I'm still gonna stay on the mission because there has to be like I can't decide what the right thing is to do. Maybe it's like to figure out like what country we all need to move to that want to live in a sane place where we can have some clean food and not live under chemical skies and be around crazy people every day. So eventually I'll figure it out. But yeah, I know that what you're saying is absolutely true. So I appreciate it. And since I haven't heard from you for a while, I am glad to hear that you're doing all right. So.
Definitely. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm doing better than ever, Zach. It's amazing. Like, people getting like my 1,200. I haven't filed taxes in I got some money back when I was young, a large lump sum. So I haven't filed taxes back in maybe 10, 11 years. But I get my money back on the 29th, 1,200. So it's like, man, wasn't even counting that money, Zach. And it's like, man, I'm doing the best ever, man. Like, even with no sports, man, Zach, let me tell you something. Even though I know sports is real, fake, I used to still bite my nails, sweating out the games. I'm giving out picks. I want to be right, you know. Man, I got nails now, Zach. I got all nails on my hands. Like, I ain't biting my nails no more. It's crazy, Zach. It's like, shoot, man. It's like no sports. Who would thought no sports, and I'm doing better than ever. I can never, man, because it was a big income of me, you know.
Sure. Well, that's great to hear, man.
I'm doing good. And the last thing that I really called you about that, like, why are they trying to play both sides? But I kind of get it. The people just not gonna wake up. Even the CNN told you, or the news told you. But the last thing I wanted to close with, and you probably already know this, but 11, 22, and 33. We know these master numbers, but I'm thinking why they love the 11, the 22, and the 33. Because so it's many organ systems in the body, but you got 11 major organ systems. You got 22 bones in your skull. Mm-hmm. So like the skull, that's where you get the skull and bones from. So you got 22 bones in your skull. You got 11 major organ systems, and you got 33 bones in your vertebrae.
Right.
So that's why they're using the human body to keep these master numbers. That's what I'm seeing. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right too. That's why I emphasize the human anatomy in the first chapter of my book, because a lot of this does.
Yep.
Yep.
That's all I want to leave you with, man. Keep doing your things, Zach. I love you, man. I appreciate you. I thank you with all my heart. You already know. I be listening. It's just I be tied up sometimes. Sometimes I try to call in. You got a hotline now, so it's hard to get you now. I had to call like 5 times just to get you this time. So, man, I'm glad we talked, man. Do you know when sports be coming back? Because I've been so at it. I don't even know when. I told my people sometime in May. But have you heard something?
I'm thinking it's going to be sometime in May too. It can't be too far off because there's a lot of chatter about it right now, and hockey and NBA and MLB are all rolling out their potential plans. There was a story a few days ago that Major League Baseball might open on July 4th. So, I mean, that would be later than I would expect, but it can't be too far off. So, they did all those rituals with LeBron in '64 because that was the day the finals were supposed to start, June 4th. So, I got to think something's going on in basketball June 4th. So, we'll see.
Okay, man. Yep. I'll let you get back to it. Sorry for the long call. I know it's been a minute, but I just wanted to, touch bases, man. Let you know what I was going through out here. I'm doing well, though, man.
All right.
Thank you. I'm waking people up, too, just a little, but thank you, man.
All right, keep it up, Rod, and be safe on those roofs, man.
Oh, yeah, I will, man. I appreciate it.
All right, yeah, take care. All right, see you.
All right.
All right. Yeah, so Ron and Victor both called in tonight. They're great students, and they're good with the sports. So when the sports pick back up, I'll post their information again so you can sign up and support them. I'm going to let them run with the sports decodes because, again, right now, it's just like, I like doing the sports thing, but I got to go full-time at this agenda. What's up, caller?
Oh, hey, Zach, how are you?
Hey, doing well, thank you.
Okay, so my name is Ramin, and I'm calling from San Diego. This is my first time calling. I have a decode I wanted to share with you. I found something about Kobe Bryant. My family was watching a movie this past weekend, the San Andreas movie, and I was just walking by, and there was this scene when The Rock and his ex-wife were on the boat going to save their daughter, and I saw a street sign that said Bryant. So I was like, okay, that's weird. So I went and watched the movie to see if I could find something. And sure enough, the exact time where you get to see that sign is at 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 9 seconds of the movie, which if you add them up, you get 41.
Huh.
And so, yeah, and then I went, and you also get to see the sign on the side of the pole. It says Bay Bridge. To the Bay Bridge. I'll come back to that. And they're going to this building where their daughter is kind of hiding. They're not sure, but so I saw that building. It's a real building in San Francisco, which is completed now. The construction is completed. In the movie, they're like 70% done. And the building in the movie is called The Gate, but if you actually go on Google Maps, it's called Avery 450. So Avery 450 and Bryant are 80 and 37. And the building is actually located on latitude 37. And Bay Bridge is also Freeway 80. So there's another connection. And just to top it all, it's from when the movie was released on May 27th. 2015 until when Kobe died, it's exactly 56 months.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
You saying that reminds me of the big LA earthquake last year on July 4th. Because from that earthquake to the day Kobe died was 206 days later, and sacrifice is 206 in Jewish Gematria. But then I think it was the next day, July 5th, there was a big aftershock in the LA area, and that was the day Zion was making his debut. And I think he was playing the Knicks, and one of those two teams, they finished the game with 74 points. They stopped the game because of the earthquake. And then the earthquake the day before was 7-4, and it was the 74th NBA season that Kobe died during. So I looked at that because just as ritualistic as these people are, remember that earthquake was, the epicenter was on a military base, which should tell you all you need to know about that earthquake. But yeah, now you bring it up to how the earthquake movie, they show Bryant Street. So yeah, that's really interesting. I'll have to go back and check that out.
What's weird, because I went on Google Street View, I could not find the exact view that they had from Bryant Street to the building. The only way you can do it is just by doing it in the movie, but there was no real street that you can see that building from.
They do that all the time in movies. It's like, there's only one movie that I know of that's about Portland, Oregon, and it's the movie with Benicio del Toro and Tommy Lee Jones. I think it's called like The Hunt or something. But it's funny because they do like this action sequence, and they make it look like all these things are right next to each other. And if you're from Portland, you're like, wait a minute, those things aren't right next to each other. So it's like they filmed it that way to make all these things look like they're right there, but they're not. So for whatever reason, Hollywood does that in movies.
Yeah, and there was one weird thing I found too. This Bryant Street in San Francisco, they have First Street all the way to 26th Street, crossing Bryant Street, and Bryant is 26 in Gematria too.
Right, and he died on the 26th.
That's a weird thing I found. I felt like there was more, but I had to stop. And I also wanted to tell you that I've been making. There was this caller that used to call a lot. This young guy, 18 years old. And he would say we need to make memes and stuff like that. Maybe like a couple of months ago when you were trying to ask people to donate more. And, I didn't like to make memes because these are facts. I didn't want to make memes and maybe some people make fun of it or something. So I was like, I'll stop making these fun facts because the truthers on Instagram that I follow, they all make these fun facts because these are facts. So until 2 weeks ago, I realized I've been making signs, actually. So all these reels that you put on, for example, like the 77, flight 77 and all those numbers, and also like 21 from the Super Bowl, all the 21 numbers, I put those in a sign, and I've made them. I sent an email to you, I believe, yesterday to your Gmail, Gematria Effect News, and it's called Gematria sign. I've made so far like 18 of them. They're pretty good. If you want to go out there, if we can print them out, that'll be good. So if you get a chance to check that out, and let me know what you think about those. Because I'm going through your book too. There's so many of these signs that we can make that's easy for people to understand. Because when I send these videos to people, and there's so many numbers. This happened to myself too. It took me some time to catch up with you and understand, because people have to pause. They don't understand, and so I tried to make it easy. So I explained all those numbers. I've been going on social media. Putting all those hashtags you said, and telling people about these numbers. And some people are interested. They ask about it. So I tell them go to Gematria Effect News and check them out. So yeah, if you can. Check your email, that email I sent you, and let me know what you think.
What'd you put in the title of the email?
Gematria signs.
Gematria signs. Okay, I will find it. I appreciate that. And by chance, did you take pictures of these signs and post them on Free to Find Truth?
From the movie?
Well, the signs that you shared with me.
No, not yet, but I can do it. It's pretty easy. I'm pretty. I post a lot over there anyway, so I can just start putting them all out there.
Yeah, it'd be cool to put them there too so other people can see them. But yeah, I will look for that. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
No problem.
All right. Take care, man. Thank you.
All right, Zach. Thanks.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Have a good night. All right, very cool. Yeah, that's what I like to hear, putting the knowledge to the test. Okay. Well, let me check in with the chat. Let me see what's going on in the live stream chat. Somebody might have... All right, I see the chat's busy. Those blue wrenches always jump out first. I see Miss Mildred and Victor and Kathy. Kathy might be reading the same book that's up on that screen. Let me just see here. Okay. I'm just scanning the chat real quick, see if there's any questions in the chat. So far, I'm just seeing conversation, which is just fine. Kansas, what's going on, Kansas?
Hey, Zach. Thanks for bringing back the night of Gematria School. I just had a few points that I wanted to bring up, so I have this book called Jesus Christ, Son of God, and in that book it talks about how the first church, Glastonbury Abbey, was laid out on a 74-foot grid, and it talks about this in the Secret Teachings of All Ages as well. But to a couple people, I've explained that one of the foundations for Gematria is using it to make buildings. You know what I'm saying? And
Sure.
so that ties into masonry. That's just an idea. Just the more knowledge I think we have of this, being able to explain it in a lot of different ways is good. But yeah, I mean, you know, and then that ties into like the World Trade Centers and stuff like that. But this book, it's called Jesus Christ, Son of God, and it's just a.
What was the name of the church again?
Glastonbury Abbey.
Glastonbury?
Burry.
I see it.
Yeah. And so I just thought that was kind of a important point to bring up. Like, they're taking the Gematria value from the words and then, you know, using it to make structures. And something that's really interesting is the Greek Gematria of Jesus, Jesus, is 888.
Right.
And 888 inches, 74 feet.
888 inches is 74 feet, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Huh, that's a good one. I never thought of that before. Okay, you said that this is mentioned in the Secret Teachings of All Ages about this church?
No, it just talks about how it's used to, you know, encode it into the measurements of buildings.
Right. Indeed. And it definitely is. And so what again book is it in where it mentions that it's on a 74-foot grid?
It's this book someone linked on Free to Find Truth. It's called Jesus Christ, Son of God, Son spelled S-U-N.
Huh.
S-U-N.
It's a book, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something, I forget what the word is. There's something about the relationship between the sun and the earth on July 4th. There's some measurement thing, and I gotta go back to what that is. I learned it from Truth Heresy years ago, but I think the Gematria, whatever that term is, equals 74 as well. So...
It's so crazy how interconnected the whole thing is. It's like our level of comprehension of how connected the entire world, you know, of ideas is through this Hermetic knowledge. It's just, I mean, your book talks about it, but I mean, your book totally exposed it, but it's like it goes so much deeper than we have any idea. Most people have any idea, and it's like yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
I had another point I wanted to bring up. Yeah, and I've been trying to get through and mention this point, but it's like what you're talking about, like finding a community away from civilization. I think that is, you know, the way to go, because, I mean, it's great and all to wake people up, but if people don't wake up and like this knowledge is lost, you know, in the process, it's like that's kind of where I'm at. Because and why I bring that up is I had this insane experience. I'm sure, I don't know if anyone else had this thing, just kind of getting freaked out by the coronavirus thing. But what happened was, you know, on March 22nd, you know, that was the 40th anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones. The way I see it, it's like on 8/11, on August 11th, Jeffrey Epstein equals 322. 8/10, that was like the astrological thing was happening. Okay, on 8/11, it was like they did this crazy ritual on us with this Epstein thing, and then it's like people were just like stunned.
Well, remember, Epstein died August 10th. That was the first day of Tisha B'Av. The second day of Tisha B'Av was August 11th, but he died on the 10th.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And what I mean is, like, the way they're doing it is it's like they're doing these rituals on corresponding with, like, an astrological event and using Gematria, you know, Jeffrey Epstein equaling 322, and then it's kind of like that ties in. The way I see it, it's like that tied in, because people should have been outraged over that. It should have been like, hey, you know, this is blatant lies, you know what I mean? And that people, they just won't, you know. And then the next day on 8/11, it was almost like that was the day the outrage is that people aren't outraged. And the same thing with 322 with March 22nd, because what happened on March 22nd, it was the first day of Aries, and that was the 40th anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones. And this is what I wanted to talk about. So on March 21st, Saturn went into Aquarius, okay? And so Saturn in Aquarius, I have this astrology app. It's called Astro Matrix. And when this thing happened and I saw this, what the guy, whoever writes for Astro Matrix was saying, man, it freaked me out, because it was like, what they're doing is they're casting a spell on people, and like, it's gonna take serious magic, real magic, to like wake people up. And if that doesn't happen, it's like, I'm all for waking people up, like, I want that to happen, but on the same hand, it's like so many people I'm around are just like completely hostile to this, and it's like, all right, man, I'm just trying to, save humanity from complete, degradation and possible extinction. And it's like, we've got to make sure that we survive whatever's happening, because like, you know what I mean? But if you want, I don't want to take up too much time, but I can read a little bit from what this Saturn in Aquarius has to say. And it happened on March 21st.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it goes from March 21st, 2020 to July 1st. And what freaked me out is my birthday is on July 2nd. And so Saturn enters Aquarius on March 21st, signifying a major shift in collective energies. Saturn has been identified as one of the major influences in the current global COVID-19 pandemic. This was due to the Saturn conjunct Pluto transit that occurred on January 12th, around the time when the news of China first broke out. For this reason, Saturn moving into Aquarius is a very big deal. Aquarius rules groups, society, and the collective in general, as well as justice, equality, and humanitarian assistance. With Saturn in this position, we will need to completely overturn our current dynamics to support each other in times of crisis. This will depend a lot on our governments and the major powers in the world supporting those in need at the expense of profit, greed, and selfishness. These will be trying times for sure. In the airy climate of Aquarius, Saturn turns its slow and steady gaze outward, reordering structures and boundaries in order to make connections, distribute information, and develop innovations. Some of the ways that Saturn in Aquarius may manifest can be problems, changes, or restrictions with social media and technology, an increase in airborne illness, a crackdown on rebellious behavior, limited freedom, progressive inventions becoming more mainstream, breaking the rules becoming the norm, and alternative practices becoming more conventional. Crucially, we need to see what happens when Saturn retrogrades back over the critical degrees that has seen the worst of the outbreak, as well as looking at Jupiter, which is following close behind Saturn. So, yeah, and so this website, Astro Matrix. It's not a website. I think it's a website, but it's an app, Astro Matrix, and it's one of the best ones. So July 1st, Saturn retrograde in 29 degrees of Capricorn. This will be the most important time for ensuring a long-term resolution to the crisis. This anaretic degree of 29 degrees is quite powerful for both positive and negative influences. Hopefully by this time, the pandemic will be over. So anyway, but yeah, it's like the Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius, it's like, they just, it's tough. It's tough. It's an uphill battle we're fighting over, occult adepts who have been at this game for like thousands of years. You know what I mean? I guess that's what I'm saying.
Sure. Yeah. So the period that's going on, did you say it was March 21st to July 1st?
Yeah, 3/21. So March 22nd was one of the first days that Saturn in Aquarius. 3/2 to too. And then think about like Skull and Bones, Jeffrey Epstein, people being cursed by all this.
But then the other thing I'm thinking about is July 1st is the CDC's birthday in light of what's going on. So I find that interesting too. The Center for Disease Control's birthday is 7/1. So.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's but yeah, I mean, the knowledge is great, but the people, they're hypnotized. It's like.
I'm going to download some of these astrology apps and start looking at that each day to see if I start making connections. Because I know there's definitely, that's the biggest missing piece of what I'm teaching right now is the whole astrology connection. Because I know it's there. It's just, Rambo's been doing a good job with it. But I know that's the biggest missing thing right now. So I'll check out that app and look at some other ones too. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zach. Take care.
Yeah, you too, man. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Caller?
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. All right, so first I got a question, and then I want to share something I found kind of on a decode. It's kind of off the stuff that you already had, though.
Okay.
The first question I have is for, all right, so you had the thing about the Tuskegee Airman coin, right?
Right.
Okay, with the 2442, however you want to look at it on the coin when you zoom in. When did you see that article?
Well, somebody pointed out to me, I want to say about a week ago. Somebody shared it with me about a week back.
Okay, cool. So I couldn't find when it was released. I mean, I saw they were talking about as early as 2018, but something I wanted to add to that I saw is it's the last coin they're going to release, like coins like that, like not just Tuskegee, like, like the bat and stuff. It's the last type of coin they're going to create, and it's the 56th.
It's the 56th, really?
Release. It's the 56th release, and it's the last release.
Man, see, that's what creeps me out, man.
I can shoot you a link to that on Twitter.
Well, that's a good find, and that just creeps me out, because I'm like, okay, so this February they gave us the bat quarter while we have the coronavirus blamed on bats, and now they're saying it's attacking black people, this virus, more than anyone else, and they're saying 42% of the deaths are from black people, which reminds of Tuskegee, right. Not the airmen, but the experiment. And now you got this 4/2 quarter that comes out next February, when this is, and I have a feeling that next year, or later this year, when flu season rolls around again, they're going to take this to a whole new level. So, and they could be reporting that, again, it's killing more black people than anybody else, and then you have the Tuskegee quarter coming out, and now we know it's number 56. It's just like, come on.
Bro. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link to where I saw it on Twitter, so you can check it out for yourself, too.
That it's the 56th, is that what you're saying?
Say that again?
You're saying the link you're going to send me is going to show that it's the 56th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think I think on the one I saw, it might have been like a 2018 release when they first started talking about it. I have to go back and look, but at the very bottom it says it's the last quarter.
I got it right here, usmint.gov. It'll be the 56th and last coin in the America the Beautiful Quarters program. Yep.
And then so for the rest of I wasn't intending to decode, but it kind of worked out. So when I looked at the quarter, right, for some reason I was thinking Jackie Robinson. I was like, I don't think Jackie Robinson was a Tuskegee Airman. You know what I'm saying? And so I went on Wikipedia and looked it up, and I remember, and I saw on your thing where you had that Jackie was 42. And then when I looked at it, it says Jackie Robinson got drafted to the Army in 1942.
Okay. Huh.
And then, that made me think about the movie 42 again, right? And you had talked about, they had put out the, they were going to donate $4.2 million, right?
Right.
And so I don't know if you noticed this too. So the reason they're donating the $4.2 million is for a campaign called Operation 42. Operation 42 is 56 as well.
Huh.
And it's for black people, because I remember I was looking on your thing when you were talking about the 42%, and Operation 42 is specifically for, they're saying they're going to donate masks and stuff to black communities and stuff. Right.
All right,
so the last part is, so the actor Chadwick Boseman is the guy that played Black Panther. He played He played a bunch of famous black people. James Brown, Thurgood Marshall. I'm missing somebody. Somebody else he played. Right? So I put in his name, Bozeman. Bozeman had 24 and 39, which is the reverse of 42 and 93.
Sure. And that's the age MLK and Malcolm X both died at, 39, and both their names equal 93. Yeah.
Right. And check this. So Black Panther, the main character who he plays, Black Panther, his name is T'Challa. T'Challa is 42.
Huh. Of course it is. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And then the last part I found is, so he also played Thurgood Marshall. On Wikipedia it says Thurgood Marshall served on the Supreme Court for 24 years, and he died on 1/24/1993. And Jackie Robinson died on October 24th, 1972. But that two is that 24, you know what I'm saying, in reverse 4-2. And
right.
then, you know, like, then I'm thinking about the planes off the 2-4s. I just had all these 42s and 24s on the screen.
Crazy. Yeah, that's good research, man. You found some good stuff there. And that's what I mean. The more you look, the more you're going to find, because this stuff is everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
It just kind of, it's like you just, you know, I mean, I guess I was looking at your stuff, but then it's like when you keep looking, things just kind of pop in your head. And when you start to look, like, things start popping up at you.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah. Once you know what to look for, you'll find it. So that's how it is.
Yeah, man. That's all I had to share, though, bro.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Great work.
All right.
All right. Take care. Yeah. 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 That's my biggest concern is that they'll scare the black community the most with this, and then they'll give the black community the dirty vaccines, just like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation did in India that they got kicked out for. So, and then what are people going to do when they're required to get the vaccine? It's either that or work. And for the caller a minute ago who said that probably the best thing we can do is figure out where to relocate to and try to live a sane life, the only problem with that strategy is the madness is still going on, and then it would also make your community targeted eventually. Caller, you're on.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Appreciate you calling in.
Hey, what's going on, man? So I found some kind of interesting, man. So I was just looking on the president's list, just spontaneously, and I came across the 20th president, which was James A. Garfield, right?
Right.
And he was assassinated. Well, he died, I believe, the 19th of September.
Yep.
But he got shot on the 2nd of July, right?
Right.
So, James A. Garfield equals 57, right? And James Garfield equals 56, okay?
Right.
And one interesting thing about that, if you take July 2nd, and, well, actually, if you take the first day of the coronavirus coming out, you know, the 21st of January, to July 2nd, that's 164 days, which is also, I got my notes up now. Like, I just did this decode, but it's 164, like the first day of what's his name? Chester Arthur. He was the guy that took over office after him.
Right.
So those two things match up. And also one thing that's crazy about him is that he was a member of the Phi Beta Kappa Club, or fraternity, which equals 52 and 65.
Huh.
And a curious thing about that, too, is that he signed the Chinese Excursion Act,
right,
which kind of like, I guess, banned the Chinese from coming in. But that was after 20 years that Chinese immigration started.
Sure.
Which is, you know, another 20.
Sure.
And then during his last year in the office, Chester Arthur, he acquired Pearl Harbor.
Huh.
In the islands.
Sure. That was Teddy Roosevelt's mission to secure Hawaii. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's weird. And then another thing too is that James Garfield, he contracted malaria, like when he was younger, and he got cured. He healed from it. But Trump, he was talking about the malaria cure and all that stuff. So I don't know, man. The whole thing with Trump talking about him possibly getting off. I don't know, but it was just something interesting that I came across, man, just to bring to you, and that's all I had, man. So I appreciate
hold on, I got to give you the pop quiz. Okay, so Garfield died September 19th, and Garfield equals 46. Why does that matter?
46. I'm not sure, man. I got in kind of late. I don't know.
No, it's okay. Just remember, you want to practice with your prime numbers, because that date can be written 19/9, like 199, and 199 is the 46th prime, and Garfield's 46.
I seen 190. Attack on Pearl Harbor is 199 in English ordinal.
And Chaos is 46. Order out of Chaos. So.
Crazy stuff, man. Crazy shit.
Yeah, remember those prime number relationships, because when you spot those, you'll see why a lot of people die the days they do. Garfield's also 44, like killing, shooting. Nearly every president who's died in office has a 44 connection. So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I always I appreciate the work you do, man, and you keep it going, bro.
All right, yeah, appreciate your observations. You have a good night.
You too, as well. Thanks, man.
See you, man. Yeah, don't forget Pearl Harbor equals 183. Like Order Out of Chaos is 183. And it's also 114 like World War 60 like Order. So, all sorts of reasons they went for Pearl Harbor. Hawaii 33 like False Flag. Well, you guys worried about the 2-hour mark? We can leave it there. I've noticed when the lessons aren't quite as long, more people tend to watch them. I think sometimes people see the big ticker and they get overwhelmed because people feel like when they start something, they got to finish. And then if it's too long, maybe they don't have the time to finish. But appreciate all the calls, questions, comments, additional research tonight. And just like people showed, remember, there's always more. I guarantee you, every single decode I've ever done to date, I only got a part of it. There's always more to uncover. And here, let's wrap it up with one last call. From North Carolina. What's going on, North Carolina?
Hey, what's up, Zach? You doing all right, man?
Doing all right, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the other night when Bill Gates was on Stephen Colbert?
Somebody told me I need to check that out, and I have not been able to do it yet. What happened?
He said there's going to be another pandemic. He called it pandemic number 2. Mm-hmm. And he said in 6 months it'll kill 30 million people.
See, that'll probably be during flu season. That's what I'm worried, that they're going to make it real crazy during the upcoming flu season. So...
I mean, he said that right on mainstream media too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got to research that one. I appreciate it. Do you know what night he said that?
Hold on a minute.
I'm looking it up right now.
What night was that when he was on Stephen Colbert? Was Friday morning. Yeah, Friday. I believe it was Friday night.
It says 4 days ago, so yeah, that sounds about right.
And another thing I wanted to ask you: have you ever heard of a band called Head PE?
That name is familiar, but I'm not real familiar with them. How come?
You need to check them out. They have an album called Back to Basics, and they're in the Truth Movement. So
Back to Basics?
Back to Base X.
Back to Base X?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, double back. Back to Base X.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Head PE stands for Higher Education Planet Earth.
Okay.
They're a pretty cool band. You probably like them. They're in the Truth Movement and stuff. They talk about 9/11, the Kabbalah, all that stuff.
All right. I'll check it out. I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. You take it easy, all right?
All right. Take care.
All right. Later.
All right. We got one more caller. All right. Sacramento gets to finish this off. What's up, Sacramento?
Hi, Zach. I just wanted you to maybe consider, or if you have already, that there's 2 viruses. And I just posted in the chat a link to this a Russian television channel that a guy had pulled up. The guy gives a good deal on it. That's all I wanted to say. And he talks about that we haven't even got it yet.
Sure. Well, that I mean, because I keep thinking about how they've got us all in fear. They got us all familiarized. They got us lining up at stores, going down this alleyway. I mean, they're getting all in people's heads, but obviously most of us, we don't really know anyone who's outside of news stories and it just makes me wonder if they're prepping us for something a lot worse. And like I've said, maybe they're going to unleash what they're getting us all afraid of once we're all familiar with it. Because just like what happens in the Event 201 simulation, they say governments open up too soon and then the virus gets worse and people start to really die in poor cities, in big cities. And yeah, it could happen. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. I'll look into it.
Yeah. One more thing. This guy is so accurate, it's not funny. And it's only 12 minutes long. I recommend everyone watch it. I'm going to put it up there. You'll have to copy and paste it because there it is. Do you see it in the chat?
Hold on, I'm pulling up the chat. Okay. Did you just link it in the chat?
I just copy and pasted what you would have to copy and paste too. I'll do it again right now.
I see Kathy just linked something from Daily News. That's what I see. That's the only link I see right now. What's your account name?
Attention span of a gnat.
Attention span of a gnat. I recognize your account name, but I don't see attention span of a gnat right now in the chat.
Well, I might be a little late. I don't know.
It should be there.
It should be there.
Well, can you whatever you're trying to link right now, can you send it to gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, just send me an email. I'll look for it.
Run that by me again. Gematria Effect News
@gmail.com. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thanks,
yeah.
Will.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good night.
Later.
All right, see ya. Huh? I don't know why his thing's not showing up, but I don't see it anywhere in the chat. So we'll leave it there, you guys. If you got here late, remember once the lesson processes, you can watch the whole video from the beginning. I think about the first 40 minutes was the lesson, and then the last hour and 20 minutes has been your phone calls. So we'll leave it there. We'll be back next Monday night. Appreciate all of you, and until next time.